Calling the meek and the humble, welcome to Blackboard Jungle. So don't you fumble, just be humble.
Hey.
Hey.
So we're here at EBK's Small Works Gallery in downtown Hartford. I'm Kristina Newman Scott, and this is Arian Wilkerson, also known as the artistic producer, director, curator, performing fabulousness of, I can't pronounce it properly,
TNMOT AZTRO.
TNMOT AZTRO.
Yes.
Not TNMOT.
Yes.
It's TNMOT.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I was so excited about your performance the other night. I literally, this membrane of this space was completely removed by the way that you were kind of accessing it and playing with it and integrating your dancers. So this is all what we're talking about here is an extension of this new work that you're doing. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about that. Tell me a little bit about where this Black Boy Jungle project came from and just some of the work that you've been doing in the community that led you to this place.
So my grandfather's from the north. My grandfather's from Baltimore and from the south, and we grew up in the North End on Elmer Street, right by the Old Arts Collective on Clark. So I had a big connection to the North End, and he died last year, and it was a really big shift in my life, and I never really knew as much about myself until him passing, and it kind of preempted me to make this work. And I also wanted to make this work about America. He taught me so much. He taught me how to fish. He taught me how to sew, cook, garden, anything that had to do with being a modern day man. And he would pick up all the kids in the community and drive them to school and drive the school bus. Wow. And he worked at Pratt & Whitney in the factory. So his life was centered around community. And I wanted to make a show about race and about our community and about what the American dream has done for us, whether it was reclaimed our identity or stole our identity. But he was a big push into why I made that show.
Wow, and so dance, so it's interesting because you're using your body as the language to explore these very heavy topics, right, and themes. And race, a conversation about race in a city like Hartford that is predominantly black and brown. What are you pulling from? What aspects of race and the tensions or not? Like where is some of the inspiration within that conversation coming from?
Richard Wright's book, Black Boy Jungle, Black Boy, sorry, look at me. So in the Richard Wright's book, Black Boy, was the book that was given to me. And I was told to read the second half of the book because they only taught the first half of the book in schools. And I wanted to do something that talked about the misrepresentation of our culture. When you talk about race, people can either talk about the Middle Passage, or they can talk about this, or they can talk about slavery. And I was like, I want to talk about Ellis Island. Because in Ellis Island, that's the one place that you don't really talk about race or color. You talk about immigrants helping lay the foundation for a economy of color, and that's a line in the show. We talk about a economy of color, meaning the grass is green, the bricks in that building is red. These walls are white, but somebody put that there.
Yeah.
And immigrants put that there, and how we kind of erased what that was and made it a monument, and then made everyone America. And now everyone's kind of obsessed with being in America and being American. And in that book, he breaks it down from a perspective that isn't just a black person's perspective. It is a black person's perspective. It is a black person's perspective because he's black.
Yeah.
And a man.
Yeah.
But he just wrote it in a way that exploded the way that anyone can think about race. He talked about the economy of all people and bread lines being all people, and about how we once were all in this state of depression together, and he talked about the centering of the voices of not just the black race, but all races, so that we all can get our problems met.
Right. So when somebody with these kinds of themes kind of inspiring the performances that you've been doing in this space over the last week, what can one expect to see or experience, and what would you like them to take away from the experience?
So I would like them to take away from the experience this idea of a gender nonconforming way of moving. When you see dance, when you see movement, it's so masculine or feminine or masculine. Men dance like this, meanwhile women dance like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like everywhere else, and besides Hartford, they kind of understand that like movement is genderless.
Yeah.
And when you watch the show, you're going to see the process of migration, but you're going to see it told through men and women who are literally opening up their bodies to be so expansive and so controlled, very physical.
Yeah, I love that. That's true, and that's exactly what I took away from it. And it reminded me very much of a conversation that Bill T. Jones was having at the Connecticut Forum recently about those kind of preconceived notions.
Yes.
You know, these stereotypical ways in which we come to accept dance, right, as a form. So I loved the freedom that I saw, that you were kind of really allowing your dancers to experience it in real time and be confused by it, be in it, not be sure, and all of that very much relates to the process of feeling very similar to what it feels like to be an immigrant in America, right? That raw, you know, I'm an immigrant. I moved to Hartford in 2005, and I was born and raised in Jamaica. And, you know, it's been interesting to just continue, you know, because I'm proud of being an immigrant. And I'm pretty proud of being in a community like Hartford, which is full of all kinds of wonderful people from around the world. So let's talk a little bit about this work and where you're taking it next, and what we can look forward to in the coming months from your dance group.
Well, that's actually really big because, so like most artists here, well, I don't want to say like most artists, but I know for a fact, me being from the North End, being a queer man of color, I've been producing this work out of pocket, which has been really tough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And last year we sold out Real Art Waves for the first time ever, 3 nights in a row, and I was really excited. But I was broke. I was like broke. Like couldn't even eat. You know what I mean?
Right. And we've got to figure that out.
Yeah.
We've got to have a real talk about how we can support artists who are experimenting these ways that don't fit traditional models of artists and artist organizational relationships, but artists such as yourselves that need support. So we should have a conversation about that. Yeah. Maybe we could do a little round table.
Totally. Okay. Because what was really interesting for me was, you know, I make my work off of relationships. I say that to everyone. I say that I make a strong relationship with whoever it is that I'm working with, and then we decide to work on something together. Because if the money ain't there, at least our relationship is there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, well, don't worry about it because we made a relationship, you know, and we connected, and then
there's trust.
And there's trust, and you can see that there's total collaboration. So for the future of this work, I mean, we are applying for our first grant ever, National Endowment of the Arts, National.
The challenge?
The national, I don't know, that one was, I haven't heard about that one, so I'd love to hear more about that one. But the one that I really like is the National Touring Project Award.
Oh, so NEFA.
Yeah.
That is an amazing opportunity for you.
Yeah. 100%
apply.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Because I really would like to take the work and tour specifically Black Boy Jungle because of the cultural climate and just how everyone worked on creating original music for the show. You know, we got I made a band out of all my favorite people.
I was listening to some of the music that you were creating, and it was so interesting because there was one song that I heard, and I swore it was like a song I knew from Jamaica.
Freddie McGregor.
And I was like, but then didn't you like didn't you like mash that up or something?
Yeah.
You did something. It was
Freddie
fabulous.
McGregor, Natural Quality.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love
yes.
that.
We use so the whole show, which is really cool, is so it's set in Ellis Island, but it's based off of the movie Rockers, which is like one of my favorite,
Rockers
one
very
of my,
well.
one of my favorite movies in the world is Rockers. And I'm not even West Indian. I'm saltwater Geech. My family's Geechee. They speak Gullah. That's that. But I love Rockers.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, Rockers in Ellis Island, like.
There's something there.
You know what I mean? And like that character, like that man, so humble, trying to just sell music on his bike and keeps getting into all these problems. You know what I mean? And just the colors, and Lee Scratch Perry being, you know, like the icon there, pre-Bob, you know, and you know King Tubby, and like really
King
kind of
Tubby,
really like hitting it. So the set was inspired by Ellis Island and the movie Rockers, and the music is all Lee Scratch Perry and King Tubby for like the first half, and then we have a little bit of the Congos and Augustus Pablo, which I'm really excited for. Sister Nancy, of course.
You need to have a dance
Freddie
party after and
McGregor.
charge money for people to come in.
It's
part of your funding strategy.
Yeah,
because this is like the best music.
Freddie McGregor, Natural Quality. I don't even know. It's 72 Nations by Dadawa. I don't know. It's a really old 70s one too. I'll send you that one. Yeah, it's really great stuff. And then we even mashed up our own versions of Fela, Monday Morning, and Lagos.
Really? Yeah.
We did our own version of that. And then we have some original music from Keela Mayos, who is, when you hear that voice, it is crazy, explosive. Hartford artist as well. So yeah, I mean, we were really like making sure that we kind of make this show that kind of talked about the work that is giving a libation to our ancestors. The whole set
I love that.
will be kind of ordained by Aja Echeverria. She made altars. She made these spiritual altars. And within the show, you can see all these little altars that basically give an offering.
Homage.
Give an offering to our gods.
So when is this? When are we going to see that? When can we see this, and where is this happening?
So it's happening on July 22nd and July 23rd at the Town and County Club on 22 Woodland Street in Hartford, Connecticut. And tickets are out. You can go to my website, which there'll be something that pops up on the screen.
A website,
a website that pops up on the screen. And then, the show starts at 7 and it goes to 9.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
I
I'm really excited about it.
Excited about this, and I can't wait to see what you do after this. What the next, how this is going to transform. I mean, I have these visions in my mind of you doing projects that bring our, you know, to your point, what Ellis Island looked like, this music and the way that you're allowing people to access this space and use movement as a way of communication to the streets, you know, that we are now kind of conjuring this spirit that lives within us that we just haven't awakened in a little while. And I think that you're doing that very much. And when I was watching it, I wanted to be a part of it, but it wasn't, you know what I mean? So there's something very special happening. So I'm really excited for you. I'm so excited to chat with you, and I'm going to be at every show.
Yes, thank you so much, Kristina.
Thank you. Really great work. Great work.
How can a man be happy when he ain't got nothing? How can a man live good